Merry Christmas!
Hi, this is Chris from Leicester Till I Die. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
This is your host, Chris.
No! God, please, no! No!
I know, I'm sorry, but he's cheap and available.
How rude.
How very, very, very rude. Very good evening. How the devil are you? Welcome along. Thank you for joining us. Yes, as somebody has just pointed out, we're late again. Tommy says, late again. Good job, I ain't your boss. Look, I was on time. Our guest was on time, Wayne, this evening. Brad, not so much. You know what I mean? The job that you do is only as good as the tools you've got. Tell you what, talking of tools, yes, he is one. He's making some gestures in the green room. I don't know what he's saying. Anyway, welcome along. Doug is in as well. How are we doing? I tell you what it is, actually. Brad is actually still totaling up the points. That's what it is. He's impersonating Father Christmas. He's double checking to make everybody sure everybody's been good. Have you been good? Brad is checking. Scott says, I'll be waiting for the sick note coming in the post. Hope you're well, Chris. That Dave is not here tonight. He's at his Christmas party. So, standing in for him is Wayne. Yeah, Brad's still here. Can't get rid of him. He's like a bad cold. He keeps coming back every year. The guy that, was bragging that he'd won this thing the last 2 times in the Premier League. Wait till you see the table. But it is the Prediction League. We're going to get on with it. Thank you very much for joining us. This is LTID TV. Join in the chat with your predictions as we go through them. Gentlemen, a very, very good evening to you. And everybody that's coming along, welcome to... This is a trilogy tonight. I feel like this is a Die Hard movie because it's 3 coming along. If you missed it earlier, the ever beautiful Kate was in, and she was picking her team to play Newcastle this weekend. You've got us 3 now, like the 3 wise monkeys. Well, maybe 2 wise monkeys than Brad. And we've got the preview show coming up with John Sinclair, Newcastle fan, at 9 o'clock got a day off tomorrow. Brad, welcome along, sir. How the devil are you?
I was fine until you gave me such injustice. You might have been early, but I was actually on time. Wayne was last in. So you have tried to shame me. For shame on you, Chris. No, we were friends now, we're not.
Well, yeah, no, but I can't pick on the guest when he's helping us out by jumping on, can I?
All right, yeah, fair. Yeah, all
And,
right.
as long as you don't walk me down the street naked like Game of Thrones, shame, shame, shame. If you've not watched it, you will.
You know, if I was going to give you the ring, I was going to say the ring of shame, but that sounds.
We've started already. Brad's got a ring of shame, everybody. I don't know how he got it or what's he going to do with it. Just press
Oh, look, it's been a long week. Let me go to bed.
John Rudkin theme carrying on, Chris.
Yes. How you doing, Wayne? Thank you very much for coming and joining us.
All right, mate.
Good. It is normally this bad and this completely chaotic. So, you know, and we have to say for anybody who is watching, this is Wayne, but this is not the Wayne that is bottom of the league. I just want to
Asterix on that one. Asterix on that one. I'm only letting you. It's Christmas, Chris. You can keep him there till Christmas, all right?
Yes, he hasn't put his points in for 2 weeks, and as everybody knows, that if you miss 1 week, that's fine. It happens, etc. 2 weeks when you've not contacted to tell us why, Brad, he's a bit of a bastard. I would let you stay in, but Brad, no, he kicks you out. But he's staying in.
I go base, but I do go baseball. I'm not such a Grinch, Chris. It's 3 strikes, you're out. It just so happens that because of the multi-week, Wayne has missed 3 game weeks. But I'm going to give him. He's got 1 more week. He's got until Christmas, Chris. How about that? A Christmas gift from me to Wayne and Chris if he turns up.
Sorry, Wayne, you were going to say.
Let me know.
I said redemption arc, Chris. It's another redemption arc possibility.
This is it. Yeah, everybody starts with the clean
He is
sheet
the
of the
predictions league, Boubacar Samare. Then
He's off.
Oh dear. Doug says 3 strikes and you're out. Tom is everybody saying hello. John's in. Hi John, how you doing? Scott, have any of you watched the pre-match interview from Ruud van Nistelrooy? RVD?
He's a one of a kind. He's like a Rob. Bam, damn. I don't know. I don't watch wrestling anymore, mate.
I don't know who RVD is. That's the thing. A Brad bonus. What's that? His ring of shame.
Don't spoil everything.
We're gonna come back to your ring of shame, mate. As many people have, I believe.
No, please don't. You disappoint the people.
Anyway, let's get on with this. Where are we going with this? So it's the prediction show. These were last week's results. I mean, there were some weird ones, wasn't there, Brad? And I've got to say, how many people actually got Spurs 3, Chelsea 4?
Well, you see, nobody in the logical right mind would have put that prediction down. Now, I'm not saying people may have got a bit of a backhand payment and edited it with their Twitter entry to make it look like it wasn't edited, but one person, astonishingly, is going to love the beer they were drinking when they initially put that in, because somebody did get maximum points for 3-4 to Spurs. There was a few, I believe at least 1, if not 2 people that did go 2-3 Spurs, so they must be cursing the luck. Chelsea, sorry, not Spurs. 2-3 Chelsea, so they must be cursing the luck. But yes, astonishingly, 1 person picked up maximum points for that result.
Wayne, look, we've said this all season. It's a strange one for results. Brentford, who stuffed us, then they got stuffed. Then Newcastle came a visiting, and they stuffed Newcastle 4-2.
They did. That was a time, though, wasn't it? So they are good at home. But
Yes.
yeah, the son-in-law and grandson, they support Newcastle. They are quite dejected at the moment because they thought they were going to have a brilliant season, pushing for Europe. And I think they're on therapy at the moment, I think.
They can't decide what to do this season. It's going to make my chat with John very, very interesting later. And I'm sure this weekend in your household will be very interesting as well.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes. Yes. So I'll get with you soon, Chris. Yeah, it will be. But to be honest, they've had their plan for the last few seasons. But with Ruud coming back, I can see a smile on my face as wide as this.
I think you might be right. Anyway, last week, I mean, Brad, and I can't laugh at Brad for this because Villa's beat Southampton 1-0 and Brad went 4-0. But I can't laugh because I actually went 4-1. So we're both
just as bad.
Yes. And then both of us went the other way with Brentford Newcastle 2-0 and 2-1. But I've got to say, the closest I came was Forest, Man United hosting Forest. So I went 2-2. I was actually sat with my brother-in-law, who is a Manchester United fan. And I was torn because I wanted them to equalise because I'd gone 2-2, so I got a point for that. But equally happy with the Forest beating Man United. It was a bit like Daddy Chips, though, Wayne. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, I don't really want Forest to win, but they're beating Man United. So it was like, I suppose I was happy whichever way it ended.
Chris Wood again, get it. I've just put him in my fantasy football team, actually. Chris Wood.
Well, in fact, I don't blame you. He is the third top scorer, unlike Brad and me, who aren't. But let's have a look at the table, shall we? I've got to say, Nate and Craig. Well, we said about it being tight at the bottom, Brad. It's tight at the top, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, all the way down to Jeff. A point. At 1 point, a goal difference tie from 4th to 6th. Top is split by one more right prediction for Nate than Craig. I mean, it's close all around, Chris. Apart from Wayne, but bless him. But he's not doing anything in all segments of it. A couple of points separating. Me and you. A point with Cole. It's as tight can be. A nun you'd find less room in a nun's where than you would in this league table. We're still great to see. I'm just hoping everybody forgets to put predictions. It gets Alzheimer's and I can catch up.
I've got to say, it is actually a bit like the real table, isn't it? Because, I mean, there's a group in the real table that in the middle of it that are all with it. Like I say, Newcastle's are struggling, but they're only 4 points off Europe. At the bottom, apart from Southampton, bye-bye. Apart from Southampton,
to be fair.
Southampton, yeah, exactly. It's tight at the bottom. I mean, but I just want to know, look, Nate is in America, but America, they're the other way. They're behind us in time, aren't they?
Well, it depends on the state.
I just don't know how he manages to get 17 correct scores, because if he was ahead of us, if he was in Australia and he got the results and then put them into the league, I'd get it. Mind you, it's not helping Luke much, is it?
No, it definitely isn't. And Kate is having a fall from grace. She was dizzy heights of the top 3 for a short period at the start of the season. Maybe she is the Preston North End of the predictions league. Started off well, was at the top, and now has fallen away. That was Preston for the last few seasons, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
whereabouts are you, Chris?
Sorry, Wade.
Whereabouts are you in the league?
Look right towards the bottom.
Now that explains why you're getting excited about having 4 points.
I thought you were going to say I was close to the bottom. That's why I was getting excited by Brad's ring of shame. You had me worried for a minute there. But yes, no, I tell you what, we'll take anything. But I don't know what. I'm just going to copy Nate's results week in, week out. You watch the 1 week I do that, I'll have a bad week. Here we go. So we are starting with a totally clean sheet here for this week's game. Let's have a look and let's go into it. Let's jump into the pack. Remember, guys, please do fill in. I'll read your predictions out after we've done ours. And if you're a bit behind, it all gets confusing. So if you're late, they don't get read out. Otherwise, I say I'm reading out wrong scores for wrong games. Starting off with the first 2 games, Brad had got 2 teams in that didn't manage to get a game last week, but one of them at least was in the Champions League. But Everton, last season at Goodison Park, but they're away. Now, they're away at Arsenal. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff. There's no early kickoff on Saturday and no early TV game either. Now, if we look at Arsenal and if we look at their home form, Arsenal are actually on home form 3rd. They haven't lost in 4. They've drawn 3. Won 3 and drawn 1 with Liverpool. Everton's away form. Let's have a look at Everton's away form. You see, we have all this information and we still do shit. Everton's away form. They're in 11th on away form. They beat Ipswich 2-0. They lost, somehow managed to lose to Southampton. They drew with West Ham and they lost last weekend to Manchester United 4-0. But this has only got one result on it, hasn't it, Brad?
I mean, you'd like to think so. It is Arsenal, but they have been more and more consistent over the last few seasons. I think a couple of seasons ago, you'd have probably bet him, a better quid on Everton to win this game and sneak it with how they could do. I'm also just at that point now where we know what's coming around the corner for the Leicester in terms of who we've got to play and who's coming up around the most depressing set of festive fixtures we can ask for with our usual 2 suspects.
I mean, I would normally at this point, because it's Christmas, go ho, 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 but I don't want to talk about my last 3 dates.
No, I wouldn't talk about them like that either, mate. But no, honestly, I can't just go because it's Arsenal and it sounds obvious. And also, I just want teams in and around us to keep dropping points, especially if, the new manager bounce comes to an abrupt end at any point soon. Hopefully it doesn't. I don't mind if it goes at Man City or Liverpool. But I'm going to go Arsenal 2, Everton 0.
Ooh.
And yes, mine are as fresh as yours, Chris. I'm doing mine on the spin. It didn't work for me last week, but you never know. Try again.
Well, I wrote mine down as you were talking there. And I have actually gone very close to you, but I think Arsenal will get 3. If Arsenal can't put the goals in against what is, and let's be honest with you, as normal, and no disrespect to Everton, but a disappointing team at the moment. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, Wayne, if we don't see a manager change there towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it's crazy, the situation. It's like when we had the new training complex and then we've not brought any young kids and we got relegated. Everton have got that fantastic stadium, but they just can't seem to get out of the bottom 6.
Yes.
Calvert-Lewin, hit and miss. He's brilliant some weeks. But Arsenal have got Saka and Odegaard back, haven't they? And Odegaard is the one that is pivotal for Arsenal.
Yeah.
Another son-in-law, he supports Arsenal. He's loving it at the minute. Because really, unless they get moving and have a good run of wins, I think the title's over for them, isn't it? So I think they will be very motivated.
Did you not have a word with your daughters, not who they should pick?
What can you do? They're getting early. They're getting early with them. As soon as they're in hospital, they put the tops on them. But I'd say 3-1 Arsenal.
Oh, 3-1. Right. Yeah. You think Everton will actually work out where the net is?
I think if they get, just from a corner.
Well, in fact, they've scored 14 goals this season, but they have conceded 21. So a little bit.
You went 3-0, didn't you, Chris? Just to confirm.
I went 3-0. Yes, I did. I did it indeed. Let's see what everybody's saying in the chat. John has gone 3. He's gone 3-1 as well, so he agrees with you, Wayne. Doug agrees with me, 3-0. Nate, here he goes. Good afternoon. Good evening to you all. We're still trying to work out, Nate, and I don't know if you saw the table. And just because Nate's in there, let me just put it back there for you. How the hell, Nate, have you got crystal balls, or is it just the way you walk? I mean, because you are getting 17 score predictions correct, spot on in what is the most weird Premier League season ever. But anyway, welcome along, Nate. And Easy says, Man City, we could get points with how they're playing. Yep, you never know. Right, okay. Well, that's one half of Merseyside that we've committed to losing. A game that Doug is going to, in fact. So have safe journeys, Doug. And that is Liverpool hosting Fulham. I've got a feeling, Brad, that this is Liverpool's. Well, I mean, all right. Never say that that you know they're going to go the rest of the season and beat or anything like that. But it's looking like it's theirs to lose. Or could they still hit a bad patch sometime?
I don't think they'll go the rest of the season without some blotches. I mean, the inevitable Man City kick on just doesn't look like it's going to happen this year. So it's going to have to come from someone else. Which is scarily starting to slowly become Chelsea's responsibility, which fills me with dread a little bit. But I do think it'll be a little bit like when Leicester did it, because we had that dodgy Christmas pit, end after Christmas where we the gap was closed a bit, but then we got back on track and soared on. Fulham have been the most difficult side for any team to take on, because when they're on fire, they can tear you to shreds, they can beat anybody, they play really well, and then when the only problem is when they're bad, they're really bad. Losing 4-1 to Wolves again. Yes, they use all the results from down to 10 men, but you can shut up shop and take the L as it is, and not get ripped apart to a very low in confidence Wolves side. So I can see both teams scoring, and I can see this one being a case more that Liverpool probably had a bad day at the office but get the job done. I'm going Liverpool 2, Fulham 1.
2-1. Wayne, I mean, looking here, Liverpool second in the home form. They've beat Chelsea, Brighton, Aston Villa, and of course they beat Manchester City at home. On away form, Fulham, who seem to sometimes put in a really good display, then other times get done themselves. But they lost 3-2 to Man City. They drew with Everton, beat Crystal Palace, and drew with Tottenham. They're sixth in the away form. Which way do you see this going?
Yeah, Liverpool win. I mean, Salah's on fire at the moment. So, I mean, like Liverpool without Salah would be sort of struggling, to be honest. He's a massive difference. Fulham, I really like it. They've got Jimenez, who I checked today, because I was looking at all the people that Wolves have sold for a lot of money, 50-odd million. But Fulham got Jimenez for 5.5 million.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's a brilliant forward, mobile. They've got Castagno, Iwobi. Like Brad says, when they're on it, they are on it. But I'd say Liverpool 3-1. Salah hat-trick. Trent 3 assists. Maximum.
You don't get none of these bonus points from letting goal scores and assists. No,
it is, mate. Salah's my captain.
That to be a reason. I wouldn't that be embarrassing, Brad? If a guest came on, wiped the floor with us, but got bonus points for naming the scorers as well.
Oh, God, no, mate.
Go home.
Don't do that to me.
I can see Fulham scoring. I'm afraid, Brad. No, I'm going to agree. I'm going to go 3-1 with Wayne. Doug has gone 2-0 to Fulham, but John has agreed with yourself, Brad. He's gone 2-1 to Fulham. Like I say, guys,
Liverpool. They've both gone to Liverpool, folks. If you're not reading the comments, Chris just likes to say the word Fulham. He'd never go 2-0 Fulham, would he? He's a Liverpool fan. He's gone 2-0 Liverpool.
Well, it's because it's 2-0, then Fulham's the word that follows the nil. Sorry. I will do this in proper style then. Doug has gone Liverpool 2, Fulham 0. And John has gone a tight game, but Liverpool 2, Fulham 1. There we go. Is that all right for you?
That's better.
Well,
Professionalism, Chris. That's all I asked for.
It's
Yeah,
about Saturday
these
afternoon,
BBC
isn't it?
class standard journalists, they can't do the job right, can they? Gordon Bennett should give the role to someone who knows how to read predictions properly.
If anybody has come into this chat hoping for professionalism, they're going to be very, very, very disappointed. The next game is Newcastle-Leicester, but we don't want to do that. As Chris Tarrant used to say on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, we don't want to give you that. We're going to go and do that one at the end. So we're going to go to the game after. Now then, this could have a big impact on ourselves. Wolves, which is your dad's team, Brad, are hosting Ipswich. At home, Wolves are 17th in the table. They lost last time out 4-2 at Bournemouth. They lost 2-1 to Manchester City 4 games ago. But they've got a draw with Crystal Palace, and they've got a draw with... they beat Southampton 2-0. On away form, Ipswich are actually up in 14th. Although that's purely based on one win, but that was away at Tottenham. They lost to Forest last week. They lost 4-3 to Brentford. They lost 4-1 to West Ham. Look, I really want to see Ipswich start to turn it around. I'll go first with this one because I think this could be the game that does it. Anybody that knows but follows me regularly in here knows that I'm not keen on Gary O'Neill, the Wolves manager. Can't believe that he's still there after losing to Floppy Loppy on Monday night. Can't believe that Floppy Loppy's still there, to be honest with you. I think, and it's probably not, well, in a way it will help us, but I think this will be Ipswich Town's second win of the season, which will put even more pressure on Southampton at the bottom. I am going to go Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Ipswich Town 2. Ooh. Wayne, let me go to you.
Because I always like agreeing with you, Chris.
And you're a fine man for it. You're a fine man, sir.
Yeah, I don't brown paint.
All right.
I said, go and dip your nose in brown paint.
Well, I mean, Craig will not be happy with sort of hating on Gary O'Neill, but yeah. I mean, Wolves are they are struggling. They are struggling. Strikers struggling. Yeah. Ipswich, I think, they've been so close on so many games. And I think they will be stronger than Wolves. I think they've got too much. As a Leicester fan, I'd want to draw, but I'd say Ipswich 2, Wolves 1. Yeah. But hopefully that's the only win they get.
I only wrote this down when he said, I'm going to copy you.
That was a 1-2 as well.
Wolves 1, Ipswich 2.
Yeah. Brad, are you going to make your dad happy?
Well, I mean, ironically, this would be the battle of the Perkises because my uncle's an Ipswich fan. So Christmas could get hectic.
Yes, it very much could do.
The problem is, Chris, whilst it's all turmoil at Wolves, Ipswich fan base is slowly becoming a bit like milk for a couple of days out of date. It's starting to churn it, starting to curdle a little bit there because they have missed out. The draw specialists, ironically, have missed out on some big points down at the bottom. You know, losing that game against Crystal Palace is going to hurt them. Conceding that 96-minute goal to the best striker in the Premier League, Jordan Ayew, against us, it's going to hurt them. You know,
don't forget Dakova Reed.
Oh yeah, like A-star student, Chris, that you're going to change his grade to. Yeah, love him. I am just as baffled as you. I think there's many mysteries in the world that are unsolved that not even the smartest minds could combine together to solve. And I don't think they could figure out how the hell Gary O'Neill still has a job after you lose the El Sacchio. It makes no sense. I feel like Wolves got away with it last time when they made the managerial sacking early and it saved their season. I think they're going to do a Leicester and not in the way they'd like to. They're going to Brendan Rodgers this. and bringing a guy almost too late because they'll have a run in of fixtures where he's not able to do much. And the time he gets his own plans implemented, they could be blown away. I'm kind of agreeing with you, Per, but I know, again, I've got my Leicester head on. Do I want to just go for a point in the hopes that if we lose to, Newcastle, it's not the end of the world because both these teams will still be 3 points behind us? Because we've got Wolves afterwards as well.
I mean, Wolves, just to say, Ipswich have conceded 27 goals, but they've only scored 14. Wolves, whilst they can score them 23, they've conceded the most in the league. They've conceded 38 goals.
You know what? I'm going to go for a wild one. It worked for others when they go about 6 or 7 goals in a game. I'm going to go Wolverhampton Wanderers 3, Ipswich Town 3.
Ooh, almost a Desmond.
It's like a superior Desmond.
Yeah. It's like a Desmond at a wedding, a Desmond +1. Hey.
Nice. I like that.
That was clever. Come on.
That was quite good.
But we have got a Desmond in the chat. He's known as John. That fence is permanently, he's definitely is for this game, between his buttocks. He's gone Wolves 2, Ipswich 2. Tommy has said Wolves will beat Ipswich, but hasn't given us a score. Also going for a draw is Doug 1-1. So you might as well write that off, Brad.
Maybe.
Would that suit us better, the draw, I think?
I just think Wolves have got to go for it because otherwise he's got to get sacked, surely, if they get hammered ball, or even they just lose to Ipswich. And Ipswich need to find a way to score more than just 1 goal every other game to have any chance of surviving. And like I said, I noticed the atmosphere watching the highlights on Crystal Palace. They got a bit infuriated with the way it goes. They came up and it was all like, well, we're probably going to go back down, but we'll stick with McKenna. He'll come back. He'll come good and we'll do all right. We might go down, but we'll play. And then I just saw a little bit of nastiness, will I say, a bit of anger in the way it was going for them. Just not scoring. So what better time to have a goal fest than when they're both fighting for 3 points?
Indeed. Right. So next up we have Nottingham Forest hosting Aston Villa. Wow. I mean, look, take off our blue tinted spectacles. Credit where credit's due. Forest sat in 5th in a European place at the moment. They did a very good job on us. The thing is, they've scored 19, but they've also conceded 18. But they've got 7 wins. Villa, well, they're 1 place behind them in 6th, but on the same number of points, 25. They've scored 23, but they've let in 23. Now, if we're looking at the form tables, guys, Nottingham Forest at home are 5th in the table. They beat Crystal Palace, they beat West Ham, then who hasn't? They lost to Newcastle, and they beat Ipswich. Mind you, on the away form, Aston Villa are in 15th. I shouldn't be saying this until I get to my prediction, should I? Because I'm helping you guys here. They beat Fulham 3-1, but they've had 3 away losses on the trot. They lost to Spurs. That takes some doing. They lost to Liverpool and they lost to Chelsea. You could argue they've had 3 difficult games there. But we know, well, we played Forest at their place. We know how hard it can be. Brad, what are you going for?
Yeah, I mean, both teams having a reasonably good season. This is where someone like Doug corrects me in the comments down below, because I'm easy to need correcting. But Aston Villa seem to tire after a European game. Another set of fixtures have gone by in the Champions League group table, if you will, or whatever it's called. Which I suppose that format actually benefits teams because they don't have to field a strong side in the last couple of games if they guarantee the top 8, do they? They can really rest players. So it's a bit easier than probably going into game 5 out of 6, needing a point to top the group to get an easier draw. I don't get people's complaint with it. I think it's a more fairer system. Having said that, they still needed to put out a strongest side last night, I believe it was, or the night before, whichever one they played. And I was tempted to give first Desmond, but I'm not. I'm going to go, and it pains me to say it, but I'm going to go Nottingham Forest 2, Aston Villa 0.
Ooh, 2-0. Well, I'm just wondering if those last 3 away games have all been after midweek Champions Leagues or not. I don't know. I think there's going to be goals in this one because both teams, can score goals. But look, if it was at Villa Park, I might go for a different score. But I'm actually going very close to a Desmond. But I'm actually going to go. Don't get excited, Brad. I'm going to go Nottingham Forest 3, Villa 2.
Ooh.
Wayne, which way are you? Are you going to be supporting Villa?
Shall I just put 3-2 down now?
Now, Brad. No, I think what Tom said in your sort of roundup with him, that Villa are just misfiring, aren't they? And I think it is Europe. I mean, Leicester, when we won the Premiership, the following year, we struggled. Because with all the top clubs who've got a squad full of Premier quality players, the smaller teams don't, and they do struggle.
Yeah.
I was speaking to a couple of customers who are Forest fans, and they think Nuno's brilliant. I liked him at Wolves.
I liked him at Spurs.
Yeah, 19th choice manager.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it's funny how some managers go to the big clubs and they just suit sort of bringing players on and getting the best out of people, and they go to a big budget, and I just think it doesn't fit them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Notts Forest, very impressive. I said 2-1. Forest 2, Villa 1.
2-1, right. So,
he's not getting into the spirit of reading it out like a final scores panel, is he, this way?
I'm looking at this, and the only one where we've all gone for the same outcome, but with different scores, except for Wolves Ipswich, where Brad went for his ridiculous 3-3. Anyway, let's have a look what we've got in the window here. Tommy has gone Forest 2, Villa 0. Doug has gone Forest 1, Aston Villa 2. So he thinks Villa will win. Is it only person, which again will probably explain why he's where he is in the table. And John has gone Forest 2, Villa 1 as well. Right, guys, this is one of the most heated derbies that there is out there, and that is Brighton and Hove Albion hosting Crystal Palace. If you're thinking about going to Brighton for the day this weekend, don't. They don't like each other at all. There is a reason, and every year I ask what the reason is, and I always go and forget it. Brighton having a great season. They're sat in 7th at the moment. 6 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses. Palace not so good. Down in 13th. 2-7-6 with the win, draw, lost column, and also a -6 goal difference. Just looking at the form table at home, Brighton are 9th. They haven't lost in the last 4 games. We only look at the last 4, really. They haven't lost at home in the last 4 games, where Palace away actually sat up in 7th. They've only lost once, and that was to Forest. They managed to draw with Wolves, draw with Aston Villa, and they beat Ipswich 1-0, which was, again, Ipswich will probably regret that. I'll come to you first for this one, Wayne. Like I say, it is a bit of a heated derby. Is this the chance for Palace to turn things around, or will Brighton be too hot for them at home?
Oh, you could have given me notice you were going to ask that, Chris. I could have asked AI, because I've just Googled, why do Palace fans hate Brighton?
What does it say?
It says, as football rivals due to a combination of competition, manager clashes, and incidents between fans. So real general football crowd.
Basically everything. The colour of the strip.
Yeah, managers scrapping on the sideline.
Yes. Totally. So which way do you think this one might go?
I'd say Brighton 3, Palace 1. I think Palace they've got some good young players, but they just seem to be down there. Brighton, without Rude, they would have beat us. And they are a really good side. I've got Mitoma and João Pedro in my fantasy football team. Because Mitoma is a quality player.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so. Brad?
Yeah, it is the strangest derby in the world because it literally sounds like petty children on a playground basically starting a room and it's just got out of hand all of a sudden. Because the paragraph that Wayne was reading goes on to talk about a manager going to leave Crystal Palace to manage somewhere else and someone went to Brighton. It's like, well, what's that got to do with a rivalry? Very strange rivalry. The problem is Brighton have fallen off a little bit, haven't they? Couldn't beat Southampton. Yes, it's a derby, but you'd expect the form Southampton being in, they'd have been licking their lips to give them a royal kicking and take all 3 points back home. Who did they play for? Fulham, according to their fan base, who were talking about our game when I watched some vlogs. For some reason, I wasn't going to watch the highlights, but then 4 minutes of a game made me want to watch them. They were saying that they were downcast. Fulham, they had chances but couldn't score. And again, they had several glaring chances against us and just seemed to make the wrong decision. And then the Vardy show came in and stole it. So, 2 points out of a possible 9, where they would have at least been expecting 6. They could have maybe thought Fulham would be difficult and fair enough. Definitely Southampton and Leicester that have been looking for points. And Palace, we're not doing too great, but a draw against Newcastle, a draw against Man City. Although right now this season, that's actually not as impressive as seasons before. Brighton need to stop the rot a little bit. I think that's 4 games, isn't it now, or at least 3 in a row that they've not got a win from it. I just can't see it coming to an end, though, Chris. I think they're going to go for a turmoil patch. I think that gloss of a young, interesting, out-of-nowhere appointment is slowly wearing off. I'm going to go Brighton and Hove Albion 1, Crystal Roy of the Rovers Palace 2.
Well, like you say, I'd noticed 2-0 up against Leicester City. Really, they should have put that game to bed. It was 86 minutes. They were 2-0 up, and maybe a more experienced manager would have, put it away, put it to bed. Sorry. And I'm just wondering whether he will realise how much. He will be told that what this means to the fans, etc. But it might just struggle. Palace, like I said, haven't been doing too bad. In fact, they're up in 7th. This is going to make you very, very happy, Brad.
Oh, God.
Your ring of shame may be itching because... Sorry, I've just got the thought of that. I have gone for a Desmond.
He goes on to 11. I can't wait for you to get to 22 on the Desmond count so I can say you got 2.
I'm going to stop at 21. When I get to 21...
I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to stop telling you.
But no, it's like you say, there's some silly results out there. I could have gone 4-4 with this one and might have got 3 points. I don't know. But... there we go. So, I'm going to go for the first Desmond of the evening. And, apart from John's in the chat, and gone Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Crystal Palace 2 there. Doug, thank God, hasn't done that. He's gone for Brighton 2, Palace 0. John's gone 2-1 to Brighton. Oh, here we go. If Palace went to Brighton and won that, would Brighton up their day? Oh. Can I say, everybody, never exactly, Wayne, never ever complain about my jokes. Compared to Doug,
I feel sorry for Doug's wife and children.
I think his child is the one he practices these jokes on.
Yeah. And I think the fact that he starts crying when you tell them, Doug, should tell you to stop.
Yes, yeah. But do carry on coming in, Doug, because you do make me look good.
He's got 3 shelves of books of dad jokes, hasn't he?
Yes.
Dad jokes.
Yeah.
Christmas stockings from Santa's, it's going to be loads of them.
I mean, I do feel like primetime Michael McIntyre next to Doug. But, LCFC forever. Good evening. Sorry you're late. Yeah, well, as long as you got a note from your mother. Hopefully we're having a good stream. Enjoying it, mate. Enjoying it. Brighton 2. Oh, he's going for a Desmond as well. 2-2.
Hey.
I like the cut of that man's jib. Very, very good. On the review show on Monday, and I've got to say, everybody, I'm not sure whether there will be one the following Monday or not, because we're hitting Christmas, the 23rd. I've already, people are starting to sort of like Dave tonight got Christmas parties coming up. And what Brad will do, he doesn't know he's going to do this yet, but he will put in the stream on X when he needs the guesses in for Boxing Day and what have you, won't you?
Just put me now. So they get out of the way. Just sign it, date and leave it.
But yeah, so just keep an eye on the chat and everything. And the easiest thing is to subscribe and click the notification bell to actually know when the shows are going out. But on Monday, there will be a weekend review this Monday. And the match that Tom doesn't know this either yet, but the match I'm going to ask him to cover is the Manchester Derby. Manchester City, Manchester United. This has got to be the most interesting Manchester Derby for absolutely years. I'm just trying to find where I put it. It's on the Sunday, so I'm actually probably going to watch this Sunday 4:30 on Sky Sports. This has got to be a game to watch. Pep is Pep dust. He's run out of Pep dust. He's struggling. He might not even get through in the Champions League. He's really hovering around the bottom of the playoff section, so he could end up in the thrown out bit. Man United have got a new manager in. Well, it's up and down, but it's his first derby, and it's away at City. City have started to come back though. On the home form, Manchester City. I can't even find them. Where are they? Oh, they're there. On home form, they're in 6th place. They lost to Tottenham. Wow, 4-0. But they did beat Forest, Southampton, and Fulham. But you'd expect them to beat Southampton. Manchester United away from home are down in 17th position. Wow.
I think that was real life.
They've drawn to Ipswich and Villa, and they've lost to West Ham and Arsenal. But, Wayne, it's a derby. So, in a way, almost form goes out the window, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does actually. And interestingly, this year, Man City, my goodness. If you hadn't got Haaland in your fancy football team, basically, you were not going to do any good. Whereas a lot of people I know, they've got Salah, Palmer in, because Haaland is missing. Sometimes you get, strikers go off for a week or two, maybe a month, but some of the chances Haaland's missing are absolutely bread and butter stuff. Even Daka at his worst could probably score some of those. So
what about Edward? What about Edward?
Well, actually, I watched a video with the Leicester City training on the LCFC website, and Rude has got his arm around Edward. How you doing, mate? So
Palace is that way.
I don't
Let's
know.
be honest with you. If we're going to bring, just very, very quickly, if we're going to bring anybody in on loan in January, we've got to get rid of one of our loan players. And Brunette is not going anywhere. So I think we know who could be. But sorry, Wayne, I interrupted you. Back to...
No, it's fine. He's got to go back, hasn't he? And
Yeah.
thank goodness, like on the show with Kate, Kate mentioned a couple of these younger lads that Rude's looking at.
Yes.
You know, because in the last couple of years, he's thinking, what is happening here? You know, do we develop all the young people that, you know, are on everybody's radar?
Yes.
So, Man City, I do think they'll beat Man United 2-1. Because Amarin, although, you know, a lot of coaches come and say, yeah, you know, I'm not going to change. You know, Man United, every year I chat with one or two of my customers who are Man United fans. And I say, so how are you feeling about this season? You know, are you hopeful? Is this manager going to make a difference? And they start off open, then it's almost like when I go around to see them next time, I daren't even look them in the eye. You know, I'm thinking, I don't want to add to their pain by asking them.
Yes.
You know, talk about everything, but not football.
Yeah,
2-1.
Things we do to Manchester United fans. Brad.
Yeah, Man City's form is right up there with the most baffling thing that's going on this season, isn't it? You know, I like my conspiracy theories, and I kind of half joke that they're going to get a points deduction, so they know they can't win the league no matter if they were perfect this season. They'll get that many points taken off, and they won't be able to do it. So they're throwing it this season just to bounce back next year. I mean, I'm just saying, guys, it was only a joke, but it's starting to look that way. Having said that, Chris, I've got a riddle for you. What do buses and Desmonds have in common?
They come along in twos.
Exactly, Chris. You wait around ages for them, and then two come along at once. And guess what? Get excited, Chris. Manchester City 2, Man Poo 2.
Wow.
Because I honestly think Man City are being that diabolical at the moment that even Man U can score.
Yeah. No, I know what, and it is a derby. And I was torn with this one.
It's a song, isn't it?
You did hear about the prostitute that went, you know, had a threesome with two bus drivers. They say one of them, when one comes, we'll leave it at that.
Oh, for God's sake! The other one was delayed, I bet.
It's one of those like I'm going to do a Colleen Nolan. When one of them came, ...
That's why I never use public transport, Chris.
No. Some of those seats. Oh. The seats are like a Wetherspoon's carpet. Stick to you. Where are we going with this? I really don't know. I'm finding this one really, really hard to predict. I was tempted to go for another Desmond.
Go on, do it, Chris. It's Christmas.
Do Desmonds in a row. Shut up, Brad. I've just got a strange feeling about this one. I'm actually going to go 2-1 as well. But I'm going to go 2-1 to the red half of Manchester.
Oh, I mean, you could have got some spiteful revenge there, Chris, because just to let you know, the last 2-2 you predicted was actually also a Man U game, and they lost 3-2 to Nottingham Forest. So maybe, you've locked in 2-1 Man U now, though, so you can't change your mind.
No, I'm going to go with that because I don't want to give you the pleasure of doing another 2-2 and agreeing with you, but I just think this is such a weird season. And look, you know, if people can predict 4-3 and get it right, then why not go 2-1 Man United?
VAR is still checking that 3-4 prediction that someone got right, though. Just.
You got a text from a referee, have you, Chris?
Coots and all.
Yeah, not going there. I'm not saying anything. The views of guests on this show do not reflect Leicester Till I Die, just in case any lawyers are watching. I love what Scott said there. Apparently, Palace don't want him back. Love it, Scott. Manchester City will beat United, though, or will they? Yes, I'm going for 2-1 City, says Doug. said like a very, very true Liverpool fan. John has gone 2-1 to Manchester City. And Doug is having a bit of a 7 of his the last 10, with the last 10 as well. And LCFC Forever, he's gone 2-1 to Manchester City as well. This is the Wayne arse-licking evening, isn't it?
Right, Jesus.
His ring isn't shamed. Let me say that.
All right.
Scott says, can everybody make sure to smash the like button? Thank you very much, mate. Let's have a look. Let's hope Man City keep their form until December the 29th. Yeah, indeed. Right. We all laughed when Enzo went to Chelsea. I was saying that never mind, if he got sacked in December, there's plenty of panto jobs going out there for him. But he's proving us all wrong. And I have to say, I'm quite happy for him. I think he got a reasonable reception when he came back with Chelsea. He did tell his team to ease off once they were 2-0. But he also obviously very highly recommended us to Ruud van Nistelrooy, which he didn't have to. He could easily have said, they shit on me, they didn't tell me this, they didn't tell me that, but he didn't. And look, when you take your blue tinted glasses off because of the way that he left, etc., I don't think you've got to say he did what he did, and we wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for Enzo, as ever tight it was. But Chelsea quietly going about the job, won 9, drawn 4, lost 2. I don't think if he'd been our manager that Leicester would be sat in second now, second from bottom possibly, but he's got a better standard of player to play the way he wants at Chelsea, and that's no disrespect to Leicester players, but look, they are better players, let's be honest. And at home as well, Chelsea are 7th in the table. They've not lost in 4, but they've drawn 2, Forest and Arsenal, but they've beat Newcastle and Aston Villa. But away, Brentford, not so good away. Home, like you said earlier, Wayne, the top of the league. But away from home, they are 19th. Talk about one extreme to the other.
Wow.
They've got 1 point in their last 4 away games, and that was a 0-0 at Everton. They lost to Manchester United. They lost to Fulham, and they lost to Villa 3-1. So I'll go first with this one because I think it's a home banker. I think if you've got a mortgage and you want to put it on a game, this is the one to put it on. Brentford, absolutely horrendous. I mean, they beat us 4-1. They then lost to Fulham 4-1 or whatever it was, and then they were. I mean, I just can't keep up with. Look at the form tables. I'm going to go Chelsea 3, Brentford 1 because I think they'll get a goal. Brad, come to you second.
Yeah, tale of two ends, isn't it? They'd be top of the table if it was home form, Brentford, and they'd probably be struggling down at the bottom if it was on their away form, which is probably apt that they're neither here nor there in the league, sort of thing. They're. I'd like to swap places with them for a little bit for how high up they are, but that it is showing that they're relying a lot on their home form. Chelsea have been a machine, Chris, and it's kind of the counter effect to what Wayne said. The manager's gone for a step up, and his tactics and his way of playing are actually working at a higher club, a higher stature. Much the opposite that normally happens when like a Graham Potter who thinks he's God gifts to football but hasn't worked for nearly 2 years. I don't know. It doesn't work out like that. I might sound harsh saying this, but they keep conceding so many away from home, and I just don't see a low score win here for Chelsea. So Q1-0 Chelsea. Now I'm saying all this.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to get a little bit worse than usual for them. I was going to go 4-1 for another one for them, but I'm going to go Chelsea 5, Brentford 1.
I had a feeling in my water when you said what you just said that you were going to go for 5. So a high 5 there for Brad. Wayne.
Yeah, I agree with what Brad said there. I mean, Enzo, when he sort of took over that squad, we all did want him to fail slightly, be honest, thinking
Yeah.
you left us in the lurch. But, you know, I think he had fond memories of Leicester. Like you said, he put a good word in with Rude. And the way he handled all those stars and sorted that mess out initially, you think, wow, that is impressive. That's impressive. That's a sign of intent. And to be honest, another thing I like is he's playing all the young kids, which Lampard, when Chelsea had the transfer embargo, played all the young kids, got them into the Champions League, had a load of money to spent the money, all went tits up. And Cole Palmer, I mean, you know, Cole Palmer, what a player.
Yeah.
So yeah, I go 4-1 Chelsea.
Ooh,
Chelsea
you've gone straight between us too.
I was just about to say he's completed the list there. I like this, man.
Yes,
I like this, mate. You can come in the predictions league and take over.
To be honest, mate, I'm walking on eggshells. I think, well, if I agree with Brad, I'm in trouble. If I say the same thing with Chris, I'm in trouble.
Hey, but that's the best way to do better than us in this league, which isn't difficult. Just go somewhere in between what we've said and you'll get there.
Yeah.
This is the case of Brad's bottom squeezer, isn't it? Straight down the middle. Yeah, well, we've all gone for that. Let's have a look what people are saying in the chat. And I've got to say that we have got some very, very intelligent people in the chat this evening. Doug has gone 3-1 to Chelsea. LCFC Forever has gone 3-1 to Chelsea.
Hey.
And John has gone 3-1 to Chelsea. Guys.
See if this game ends 6-3 and someone gets 3 points on it, I'm docking them. They're not having it now. I'm remembering these names. If I sort of see 6-3, remember these names, Chris, just in case I'm saying, hey, what did John say in the chat? He's a 3-1.
I mean, it seems like a bit of backhandering going on here, you know what I mean?
It's shame the envelopes are never arriving at my fucking house, mate. I'm the one who does the points and they're not giving them to the right people.
Can I just say, I'm so glad I went first, because if I'd gone last and I'd gone 3-1, you'd accuse me of just copying. Ah, dear. Right, well, that match is, I believe, 7 o'clock on Sunday.
Wow.
Wow, what a strange time. Yeah, TNT, isn't it?
No. The next game is TNT, and that's Southampton against everybody's laughingstock, Tottenham Hotspur. That's at 7 o'clock as well. The Man City Man United is on Sky. Who knew? Let's be honest with you. Apparently, the FA Cup picks have got everybody annoyed because, again, there's a few Premier League games in there, and they're all been picked for TV. Who knew? But on Sunday,
late kickoffs for a Sunday night, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's like who could imagine a football association giving somebody a 7 o'clock kickoff on Boxing Day?
Yeah, which was originally supposed to be a normal 12 o'clock kickoff, wasn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, and who else? And it's like, can you imagine a world governing body giving the World Cup to Saudi Arabia?
Well, we're all fools if we didn't see that coming after Qatar.
Well, exactly. You would have thought that it could have blown the nose first. Oh, sorry, Qatar. Sorry.
It's a cracker.
It's the way I tell them.
Please don't tell us you're here all week, Chris.
The tragic thing is, he isn't apart from tomorrow.
I've got a day off tomorrow. Thank God, I need it.
When he says that, I'd put a 5 on it right now. Then I see him posting saying he's going on a review show at 7 o'clock.
It's the sort of thing that the TalkSport will ring up and say, "Do you want to come on?" Because I didn't know. And I was joking. I did the radio show as well, and I'd got an interview lined up with somebody you'll have never heard of, but she's a Eurovision winner for Ireland. I was going to do. She's got a Christmas single out. I was going to do an interview. I'd got that lined up for 11 o'clock, an hour after I filmed it. I've had enough. It was the third interview I was going to be doing this week. I had to message her agent and say, is there any way we can put it back, please? I'm literally falling because I've got absolutely nothing planned, no questions, which if anybody's heard my interviews, you probably realise that's my interview style. But look, Southampton, Wayne, everybody's, I think, favourite to go down, hosting Tottenham. Let's be honest with you, this could just as easily be Southampton's win as it could be Spurs sticking 8 past them. It could go either way. I mean, at home, Southampton are actually not bottom. They're 1 point above Ipswich Town in 19th. Excuse me. Their one win against Everton came at home. They lost to us. They lost to Liverpool. Both of those were 3-2. And they lost to Chelsea 5-1. On the away form front, Tottenham, they were down in 13th. They've only won 1 in 4 at home. They beat Manchester City 4-0. They've lost to Bournemouth. They've lost to Palace and they've lost to Brighton. Now, as I say, it could literally, it's a case of, that with this game, isn't it, really? But I'm going to put the pressure on you, Wayne. And I apologise, but I'm going to let you go first with this one.
Right, yeah, Spursy. Well, they might let Southampton win to spite us for winning the title.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say Southampton. It's okay, teams like Southampton and Norwich coming up and playing great football, but it rarely works. Apart from somebody that I mentioned in the chat once, and you know I've been on the mess, Chris, Tyler Dibley.
Yeah,
because he's an 18. He's a young lad who's like linked with a lot of top clubs, and he's a great player. They've got some good players. They play nice football around the back, but they just do these kamikaze things every now and again.
Yes,
literally pass to an attacker just off the back line. So I'd say Southampton 2, Spurs 4. But Solanke, I mean, he's not really done that well as he's going to Spurs. So you got Son who could get an hat-trick on a game. So yeah, Spurs 4, Southampton 2.
Brad?
Yeah, this would just be typical. They look down and out. They look dead set to go down, and they probably still will anyway, even if Dr. Tottenham do give them an injection boost. I mean, it hasn't helped Ipswich out, has it? I don't think they've won since, I think you said earlier. So it's not always the turning point. This could be one where we're all going to go the same way, and we're sat here going, fuck off Southampton. Come the end of it, sort of thing. I was tempted to go for a Southampton win purely based because it's bloody Spurs. I mean, Bournemouth, I watched their game, Chris, and I actually got a point for it. I think I'd gone for a Bournemouth win on that one. And they honestly could have had 3 or 4. They missed some right sitters to kill the game off and absolutely tear Spurs apart. And there was discontent there again. The players are having to come out and say they like the manager, which should be a given. It shouldn't be to kind of back the bad sort of form they're under at the moment.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened, Chris. I mean, if you're not going to sack Gary O'Neill when he's practically dragging Wolves down to the Championship, why not sack Ange just for being Ange, I guess, and Tottenham being Tottenham? Having said that, I'd rather get this wrong and get no points and laugh at Spurs than you know what I mean. I'd rather.
I feel a home win coming on here.
I'm tempted. I really am.
Go on, Brad. Go on.
No, I'm sorry. Southampton are just too shit to get it.
How dare you?
Yes. Go on. Go. You know you want to. Go on. Chicky, Brad. I don't know what I'm drinking, but I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying listening to. I mean, they've come close in a few games, haven't they? But how long?
You take your time, Brad. Christmas is coming, though. Just remember that.
All right, then. Southampton 1, Tottenham 2.
Ooh, right.
I really did, and then my brain went, no, go 1-1, and I thought, no, I can't go for a draw. I've got to Not sit on
Well,
the.
no, it's written down now. It's locked in. You can't take it back.
Yeah.
Well,
me foreign fence panels.
I have a feeling for Southampton here. I know you weren't brave enough, Brad,
I wasn't.
and you'll kill yourself if Southampton win now. And no, I think Southampton will take the lead. I mean, Southampton sometimes have a habit of playing well, but then completely throwing it away. They've conceded 31 goals. Their goal difference is minus 20. So they might as well have 4 points, not 5. So I have gone Southampton 1, Tottenham 4. So I agree with you, Wayne. I think Tottenham, if Tottenham can't do well in this game, they're away from home, so they haven't got all the fans there. They've just got the away fans there. I think this could be I say the end of Southampton. I know it's early yet, but God's sake, we're coming up to sort of halfway through the season soon.
Chris, do I have your permission just to play one very quick video? And I'll have an explanation beforehand. But you two, I'm looking down at your predictions, both of you, and all I can see when you two are making score predictions is. Now take your pick. You can be Spider-Man or the Flash. Chris doesn't discuss next live.
I've had two of these.
So what similar results and goals predictions between you pair?
Knew you were going to go for that one, but look, can I just say, Wayne, jealous.
Well, if you've got the mojo, you got it, Brad. That's it.
Let's do that. Let's
leave him now. Put his flash underneath him. I see how it
is. No. Actually, I mean, 3-0, 3-1 for the first game. Both went 3-1 for the second. Both went 1-2 for the fourth. We both went for Forest to win. We did disagree with Brighton Crystal Palace. We totally disagreed with the Man United derby. We went very similar with the last two games as well. Is he still here, Brad? Honestly, I wish he'd leave us alone. You know what I mean?
Like you said, Chris.
I'll leave you lovers in peace, shall I?
But it's bonkers. The scores are bonkers. So I do the fancy football league, and for the first, you don't do it. You forget to meet the deadline.
Yes.
And you can spend 2 hours doing all the planning out, and if you forget to do the deadline, you end up with more points.
Yeah. Exactly. But John's gone 3-1 to Tottenham. Doug has gone 3-2 to Tottenham. Chris is being Mrs. Dwight from Father Ted. Go on. I never watched Father Ted, so I've got to. Or Mrs. Doyle, apparently she's called. And he finally says, "Get a room, you two." Monday night for the second week in a trot, the Hammers are playing. We might have been surprised at Gary O'Neill, or as we like to call him, Paddy's bum buddy, still being there. But I'm still surprised that Floppy Lop is there. And I was sort of in a West Ham chat the other day, and just in, not on the show, just in the chat, and they want him gone. They really, really do want him gone. Wayne, let's come to you first.
1-1.
1-1.
Bloody hell, that's the shortest answer of the night.
It is. It is.
Bournemouth are funny because when Craig was it on Saturday we played or Sunday? He was going apoplectic. He was saying, "Oh, we're a load of shit," and all that sort of thing. And then Bournemouth, if they turn it on, they're brilliant.
Yes.
But some of Craig's comments are quite concerning. You're thinking, "God, it sounds like it's the end of the world."
And was because obviously we were losing at that time. Ipswich, therefore, were winning at that time. And but we had on. I don't know if you watched the review show, Wayne. And I had another one of my mates, Colin. He did the fans review for the show, And he said exactly the same. Absolutely shite until the end, and then coming good. But you're going for a 1. Do you want to go for a Desmond, Wayne?
No, 1-1. I can't. I mean, West Ham are struggling to score, aren't they?
They are. In fact, to let you know, West Ham, who got that win, they scored 20, which is 1 less than us. They've conceded 28, which is 2 less than us, and they're on -8. At home, just to say that Bournemouth are in 4th place in the home form table, beat Arsenal, Man City, and Tottenham. That's not 3 bad wins for them at home. They did lose to Brighton. In away form, West Ham United are in 16th. Lost to Tottenham, lost to Nottingham, lost to us, but they did beat Newcastle. Brad, which way are you going?
Well, I think a game later than West Ham fans would have probably liked in a weird way. You should never want your team to lose. I don't suppose they want to see the team lose. They just don't want to be in charge. A bit like the majority of fans when Cooper was in charge. We never wanted to lose. We wanted to get to a point where decision was made, and thankfully we've got that.
Yeah.
It'd be just typical of West Ham. They win the El Clasico, which was kind of a loss in West Ham's fans' eyes because it meant he'd keep his job.
El Clasico, do you mean?
Yeah, whatever I said.
El Clasico. I think that was a long way from El Clasico.
It was far from it. Yeah, it was definitely far from a classic, wasn't it? It was an El Clasico, sorry. I think West Ham fans get their Christmas wish, and I'm going to make you sit back in your chair when I say this. West Ham aren't going to score. They're going to get 0 goals. Bournemouth are going to score 4. 4 and sacked. 4 and sacked.
Oops, I've just written that under mine, so I need to...
I mean, no, Chris, if you want to go 4-0 as well, mate, come on, mate. Me and you will have a Spider and Flash. Mate.
No, in fact, I've written everything wrong on this one. I've written the 1-1 under you, Brad, and the 4-0.
I'll tell you what then, Chris, if it finishes 4-0 or 1-1, I'll take all the points.
Well, I if I was going to go for a Desmond, I daren't now because you'd accuse me of Wayne of sneaking off together. So I can't go for another Desmond, so I can't disappoint you there, Brad. I think this could see the end of Floppy Loppies. I don't even think a full pack of Viagra would stop Floppy Loppy flopping further down, if I'm honest with you. Bournemouth, look at who they've won at home, who they've beaten at home. Do you know what I mean? But the sort of silly season that we're having, West Ham could go there and win. I can't see past a Bournemouth win. But I do think West Ham will score. So I'm going to go 1. Hmm. 3-1. Bournemouth 3, West Ham 1.
He was tempted to say 4.
I was. You could see me, couldn't you?
He'd scribbled 4 out and put 3.
No, I'd written 4-0 down for me, but I've gone 3-0, 3-1. I'll get there eventually. Let's have a look what people are saying. Thank you very much, Scott. John is saying 2-0 to Bournemouth. Doug is going 2-1. Floppy to go. Scott has gone 4-2 to West Ham. Bye-bye Floppy, says John. Nobody can sort of see West Ham getting this, but don't know if he loses, he may not go. Look who their owner is. Right, going back to the third game, it is Rude's first away game. He has absolutely revitalised this team, but we have got an absolute problem in those central defensive midfields. Sumare is going to be out because he is suspended. Ndidi is out. Winks could be in or out, but then again, he could be shaking it all about, of course. And as we know, that's what it's all about. 2 for the price of 1 there, everybody. Get value on this show.
I need therapy after this, Brad. How have you stuck in for so long, mate?
Oh, don't ask, Chris. Chris is the biggest mystery to stick around with ever.
I liked you before, Wayne, but you're going to get this now. Right.
Oh, lovers tip. The lovers tip has happened.
Oh, dear. Yeah, Brad. Newcastle aren't having the best of seasons. You know, I mean, when you look at them, and there's some murmurings around, Eddie Howe, but they've played 15, won 5, drawn 5, lost 5. Conceded more than they've scored by 2, but they've got 20 points, which is only 4 points off Brighton in 4 points off Brighton in 7th. That's right. At home, Newcastle are in 18th place. They've only won 1 of the last 4. They lost to Brighton, they lost to West Ham, of all people, and they drew with Liverpool, but they did beat Arsenal. So they're in 18th. On away form, Leicester City are in the dizzying, nose-bleeding heights of 12th. And I did actually, if we did it on the last 6, we were a lot further down. So I actually just did it on the last 4, so we'd look better. But we beat Southampton away. We drew with Ipswich. We lost to Manchester United, of course, and we lost to Brentford. Brad, could we get something from this?
I think we could. There's the big possibility. It is obviously just a case of.
Doug.
Oh, for God's sake, Doug! Don't give up your day job, mate. Whatever it is, don't give it up.
You criticise my hokey cokey link there, Wayne, but come on, compared to this.
These ought to be put in crackers, Christmas crackers, some of these, I tell you.
Yeah, probably.
Put in something. I don't know if the crackers. Right.
No, Doug. Sorry, Doug. Sorry, that wasn't me.
No, don't apologise for Doug's actions and behaviours in this one.
No, I'm apologising for yours.
Oh, well, that's fair enough. Look, my Leicester head says we could get a draw. It is at St James's Park, and I feel like if it was at the King Power, we could get all 3 points because Newcastle have been a bit travel sick recently, dropping points. See, you know what, Chris? I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say there's a Christmas miracle around the corner. Leicester are going to keep a clean sheet. I'm going 2-0 to the Foxes.
Wow.
Oh, well. I follow that, Wayne. I mean, what can you say? I mean, the funny thing is that Newcastle are so poor at home because, let's be honest with you, it's a bit of a fortress over the years for them, St James's Park. They could always rely on their home form. But, I mean, if anybody's going to that game, please do leave your number with somebody because you're going up that high. We may never see you again where the away fans sit. What are you going for with this one, though, Wayne?
Well, I'd say, Brad, I'd love it if we won 2-0. I'd say, yeah, just looked at Newcastle's form. In the last 4 matches, they've lost 2 and drawn 2. So on form, I think we've got momentum, and I think they are misfiring. I mean, Joe Linton's an absolute beast in midfield, isn't he? Yeah. Physical, used to be a forward, can run with the ball. Gordon's the same. If they're on it, like with Brad's love child missing, yeah, we are a bit weak, and Amazon might be able to cover for that. But if he gets an early yellow card, 20 minutes into the game, we could be in trouble.
Don't worry, Wayne. You're thinking way too harsh about this. We all know it's Chris's love child that's going to fill the midfield role. He's going to play Decova Reed in there, isn't he? It's Chris's. Decova Reed's got this in the bag, guys and girls. Don't you worry. Bye, studio.
You interrupt you. I was just waiting for Wayne to finish.
Sorry.
I was just thinking. I'm thinking there's a Bobby Cordova Reed redemption arc. Brad's got another redemption arc coming.
I know,
Yeah,
I'm going to go 9-0 away and Edouard to get 4. No, I'm not.
Well, I was going to say that now, Chris. Come on.
I say 2-2. Desmond.
You're going for Desmond.
Yeah.
Desmond.
Hey, another Desmond in the bag. Go on then.
I mean, I totally agree with you. And if you want to know, I actually agreed 100% with the team that Kate is putting out. And if you want to check what that team is, go on to LTID TV1, go on to the book, which is the top playlist, and just play Pick and Mix with Kate and me. And you will see the team she has picked, and we're in total agreement. I'm not going to say what it is because I want you to go and watch the video. Newcastle United have got some stars, but we've seen from that they're not firing on all cylinders. You know, it's like, having George Best in your team, but if he's hung over from the night before, you know, he's not going to perform. So I would be happy with a point. If you offer me a point now, I'd take it. But I just feel confident with this team under Rude. So I stopped backing Leicester because I wanted the points in the prediction league. So I stopped backing Leicester under Cooper, and I went for us to lose because I know I'd get at least a point. But I'm back to backing my team, and we're not going to keep a clean sheet. What's a clean sheet? We've done one all season. Honestly, Kleenex couldn't help us keep a clean sheet. Sorry, that was a shit joke. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear.
You have one, and then there's like buses, another one comes straight away.
No, 1-2.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm going for. I am going for 2-1. And Leicester holding on at the end.
Oh, there you go.
I love the positivity.
Yes, yeah. We'll end on a positive. John has also gone for the Desmond. He's gone Newcastle 2, Leicester 2. Scott, I'll go and say Leicester sneaker Goalfest 4-2 win with a McAteer brace.
Oh, I love that thinking there, Scott. I'd take it, especially if we're 4-0 up with 92 on the clock and then go and concede 2.
I tell you what, Brett Scott, let me know what drink you're drinking because I want to go and get some. Newcastle 2, Leicester 1, Doug. LCFC forever. He's agreed with me. He says hopeful, but he's gone a 2-1 to Leicester. Interesting to know what team this gentleman supports. He just says hello. He's saying, be careful what you wish for, FC. Interesting.
Maybe he's a Southampton fan. He was asking for promotion last year.
I think he's a West Ham fan. You two going Southampton, are you?
West Ham.
You're going West Ham as well? Sorry, Brad?
I'm still going Southampton. I think he wanted promotion, and now he's gutted that he got it.
You see, Wayne just loves me that much. He agrees with me again.
Oh, no. Change the subject quickly.
Guys, thank you very, very much for joining me. I got your message, Brad. Links to both how people can follow you both are in the text below on YouTube. Are you able to watch the game, Wayne? I know you've been having a few technical troubles.
Yes, I think so. I think I'll be okay for Saturday, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, and Brad, I'll speak to you afterwards. Take care, guys, and I will see you soon. All the best.
Take care, everybody.
Right, so let me just put myself right. There we go. So I'm going to be back in 19 minutes' time. And we still don't know who. Be careful what you wish for, suppose who he supports. I'm going to be back in 90 minutes' time talking to John. I've got me Geordie English Facebook ready. He could actually be Newcastle. He could be Newcastle. Who knows? We're back at 9 with John. Please don't touch. Just go and have a piss and then come back. And I'll still be here. I will see you then. Take care, guys. And I'll see you in now 18 minutes. You think I'd do this professionally, didn't you? Wouldn't you? Here we go. See you in a bit.
Thank you for watching. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.